I was.
Es ist Zeit für den Hustle Nordwest Podcast. Dreht euren Podcast auf und singt mit. Von Salem bis Mount Angel, überall dazwischen heben wir ein Glas und stoßen an. Hustle Nordwest, lasst uns singen und tanzen, mit einem Bierkrug in der Hand. Hustle Nordwest, lasst uns rufen und schwingen, zusammen feiern wir im ganzen Land. Von den Tälern bis zu den Hügeln, wir hustlen weiter Woche für Woche. Oktoberfest ist hier zu bleiben, im Willamette finden wir unseren Weg. Hustle Nordwest, lasst uns singen und tanzen, mit einem Bierkrug in der Hand. Hustle Nordwest, lasst uns rufen und schwingen, zusammen feiern wir im ganzen Land. Mit Akkordeon, Klängen und herzhaften Lachen teilen wir unsere Geschichten, trinken aus unseren Krügen. Das Hustle stark, der Geist hält, wir singen und tanzen die Nacht hindurch. Hustle Nordwest, lasst uns singen und tanzen, mit einem Bierkrug in der Hand. Hustle Nordwest, lasst uns rufen und schwingen, zusammen feiern wir im ganzen Land. Also hoch die Gläser, Freunde nah und fern, zeigt wer ihr seid, zeigt wer ihr seid. Im Hustle Nordwest gehören wir zusammen, lassen uns die Nacht mit diesem freudigen Lied enden. Also hoch die Gläser, Freunde nah und fern, zeigt wer ihr seid, zeigt wer ihr seid. Im Hustle Nordwest gehören wir zusammen, lassen uns die Nacht mit diesem freudigen Lied enden. Für den Hustle Nordwest Podcast, dreht euren Podcast auf und singt mit. Von Salem bis Mount Angel, überall dazwischen heben wir ein Glas und stoßen an. Hustle Nordwest, lasst uns singen und tanzen, mit einem Bierkrug in der Hand. Hustle Nordwest, lasst uns rufen und schwingen, zusammen feiern wir im ganzen Land. Von den Tälern bis zu den Hügeln, wir hustlen weiter Woche für Woche. Oktoberfest ist hier zu bleiben, im Willamette finden wir unseren Weg. Hustle Nordwest, lasst uns singen und tanzen, mit einem Bierkrug in der Hand. Hustle Nordwest, lasst uns rufen und schwingen. singen. Zusammen feiern wir im ganzen Land. Mit Akkordeonklängen und herzhaften Lachen teilen wir unsere Geschichten, trinken aus unseren Krügen. Das Hass ist stark, der Geist hält, wir singen und tanzen die Nacht hindurch. Hassel und West, lasst uns singen und tanzen, mit einem Bierkrug in der Hand. Hassel und West, lasst uns rufen und schwingen, zusammen feiern wir im ganzen Land. Also hoch die Gläser, Freunde nah und fern. Zeigt wer ihr seid, zeigt wer ihr seid. Im Hassel noch West gehören wir zusammen. Lassen uns die Nacht mit diesem freudigen Lied enden. Also hoch die Gläser, Freunde nah und fern. Zeigt wer ihr seid, zeigt wer ihr seid. Im Hassel noch West gehören wir zusammen. Lassen uns die Nacht mit diesem freudigen Lied enden. Für den Hassel Oktoberfest Polka, dreht euren Podcast auf und singt mit. Von Salem bis Mount Angel, überall dazwischen, heben wir ein Glas und stoßen an. Hassel und West, lasst uns singen und tanzen, mit einem Bierkrug in der Hand. Hassel und West, lasst uns rufen und schwingen, zusammen feiern wir im ganzen Land. Von den Tälern bis zu den Hügeln, wir hasseln weiter Woche für Woche. Oktoberfest ist hier zu bleiben, im Wildermet finden wir unseren Weg. Hassel und West, lasst uns singen und tanzen, mit einem Bierkrug in der Hand. Hassel und West, lasst uns rufen und schwingen, zusammen feiern wir im ganzen Land. Mit Akkordeonklängen und herzhaften Lachen teilen wir unsere Geschichten, trinken aus unseren Krügen. Das Hassel ist stark, der Geist hält, wir singen und tanzen die Nacht hindurch. Hassel und West, lasst uns singen und tanzen, mit einem Bierkrug in der Hand. Hassel und West, lasst uns rufen und schwingen, zusammen feiern wir im ganzen Land.
actual podcast. So there's no, we can just kind of go in. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So Whitney Olvin,
Yes.
Monica Boxler
Right?
with the Mount Angel Oktoberfest. You are a director and you're an associate.
Correct.
So
What does
you're
associate mean?
Like a director in training?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, just do a lot of the same things, but not as many obligations, not as
Got
much
it.
commitment,
Got it.
Okay.
I guess.
It's almost like she's trying it on to see if it's a good thing for her. And, you know, in a few years then we'd bring her on full time if she wanted.
Like dip her toe in a little bit.
Yeah.
And see.
See if she runs off.
But with my husband being a director, I'm basically there just as much. So
You're a lifer.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's great. It's all good.
I mean, is there any difference? You guys go around and get ice and do all the same stuff as everybody else? I mean, except you get the title. Is that what it is? Or
Well, I mean, directors, they have meetings
Yeah.
throughout the year. Every
is it
month.
the whole year? This is going. It's not like leading up to it, like a couple months, but it's a full year type of side job.
Well, I think that's one of the myths about Oktoberfest is we just kind of throw this together in August.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, we start the Thursday after festival ends. It'll end on Sunday. We'll take down Monday. Thursday night, we meet as a whole group and we pick apart what we just did.
Wow.
And we start planning already for the next year. So
That's crazy.
it's huge, it's big, but it's one of the things that just keeps us getting better. And you know, Whitney will be in on that meeting, and they run long, and it's just really beneficial though to make sure everything's good.
Especially
and then we
while
do
it's so
better next
fresh
year.
in your brain
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah, that makes
before
sense.
before you forget what made you frustrated, and it
Yeah.
sounds terrible, but you need to like bring that out and then get it on paper, and then we pick that back up in March.
Yeah.
And we'll start going through it and going, okay, we want to do this, we want to add that to the budget, we want to make these changes, and it's huge. It's huge. Very
That's
good
what
for the
we
festival.
had Corky Justice from St. Am Stampede, and she was talking about that. She's like, we get like a little bit of a reprieve, but then it's like pick right back up. And it's basically all year long.
Yeah.
So she's like, people have no idea what goes into running these festivals. No idea.
Yeah.
I mean, people just show up and drink beer at this one.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I know.
So, like, I guess how much does it change year by year? Is it like you try something new, or is it just because the amount of people showing up, you have to expand somehow, either by the food or parking or just the amount of what you're offering?
Well, I have to. Boy, that's a tough one. Things do naturally progress. You know, when the festival started, they didn't worry about parking the way we do now. And then not only was we worried about parking, now how do we move that many people in and out of parking lots? So things definitely progress that way. And it's kind of gradual, I think, in a lot of ways. Some changes are forced on us. I mean, hey, COVID, right? That was a very interesting year.
Were you guys able to be open that year?
What we did was it was not our finest moment, but we did an at-home Oktoberfest.
Okay.
So we treated ourselves like a warehouse, and you would order like beer or sausage that you were going to take home, and we did it that way. And then we did a what do you call it? A live stream,
Like a live
of some
event type thing,
yeah.
yeah.
And then so the idea was you were home with your sausage and beer, watching Oktoberfest on your TV.
That's amazing, though. I mean,
computer.
so many people had to figure out how to kind of like bridge the gap between what they normally do and what they could do.
Yeah. It was like I said, it wasn't our best year. We're not cut out for a warehouse. The hot wash on that one would have been real deep and long, but you know, we run a festival really well.
That's amazing.
So when did it start? I know like Oktoberfest kind of started back like 1800s, but as far as the Mount Angel version of it, when did that actually come into kind of fruition?
1966 was the first year that
Really?
it was incorporated. So next year is our 60th anniversary.
That's crazy.
So-
I remember going as a kid, and it was much smaller. Oh, sorry. It was much smaller.
Well, I think it was 65 was one of the first years before it was incorporated, and there were 35,000 people there.
Yeah.
And now we are around 400,000.
So it was a thing before, and then they just officially made it a thing, and then it's growing just because has it grown just because the area itself is growing, or is just the notoriety is bringing people in?
I think a lot of it has to do with the authenticity and the quality of the festival, but it is since I'm the marketing director, what I always do is I'm kind of curious, I'll ask people, why are you here? Why are you here? Or, what brings you here? And they'd say, oh, my friend, oh, my mom's been coming for years. She finally dragged me along. Oh, I'm coming back every year with all my friends. And so I've found nothing beats word of mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we get it out there, but people are coming because other people are having a good time, and they just keep bringing more, which is excellent.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and I think phones, people take a lot of photos now. They share them with their friends, and they go, gosh,
Yeah.
that looks really fun.
Where
I
are
wanna
you?
check that
Where'd
out."
you
Yeah.
go?
You're probably like, tag where you're at. Yeah.
Yes. Lots of banners, lots of logos. Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone's coming in for the first time, what advice would you give them? Like, this is the way to do it.
Like if they were starting their own
Yeah,
festival?
just coming in.
Oh, I
no,
thought you meant like they
No.
were showing up.
Oktoberfest.
Wait, are they showing up to the
That's probably like a
Oktoberfest?
5-hour talk. Right
I
there.
was like, that is a loaded
no,
question,
just
sir.
if you've never been to Oktoberfest, like I heard about this. I'm coming there right now. What should I do? What is the best way to do it?
To try it
To
out.
experience.
I mean, I think it depends on the person. Number one, it
Yeah.
depends on if it's a family. They might have different interests than a group of 20-somethings or year olds.
Yeah.
But I would say just in general, go as many places as you can. Try as much food as you can. I mean,
Yeah.
the amount of food booths, we have 40 so booths this year.
Don't
So
don't
many
eat for a
food
whole
booths.
day
Oh,
and
yeah,
then show
or a
up.
whole week maybe, because I mean and then take some home with you too, because
Yeah.
it tastes even better the next day.
So yeah, I think the first one is a couple years ago, but I was telling Carrie, like, I really want to go to Oktoberfest and get a sausage and get one of those ice creams. And I was like, when does this start? He's like, Carrie's like, that was last month. It's October. So Oktoberfest.
And he's like, no, Oktoberfest. Like, it should be this month.
It's-
I was like, no, it's in September. Like, you missed it, bud.
Yeah.
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 So
that's a
I
bummer.
haven't made that mistake since.
Yeah.
When you put food in front of me, I learned my lesson. So.
Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, even
awesome.
as long as Monica's been there for how long on the board?
I'm 12 years on the
Yeah.
board, I think. Yeah.
And Mike and I, well, he's 5 years, but I've been there right along with him. And so, I mean, every year, whether there's a new booth or not, we always try and support somebody different, try
Yeah.
something new. That's what I would say. Try something new. Visit all the venues. Go check out. There's a whole little kindergarten kid area. I mean, there's
Yeah.
just so much
There's
you can
so
do.
much to do.
And set aside an entire day,
Yeah.
if not a weekend, if you're in the area.
Because there's the food, and then there's the events that kind of happen throughout the whole thing, and then you got the beer gardens,
Yeah.
and so I mean, there's if someone was coming in with a family and they had an itinerary of like, I want to do this,
I would start at the kindergarten. You want to get there right at 11 because the rides will fill up pretty fast. And if you can, you bring the family on Friday
Yeah.
because everybody else is in school. That's the day to be there. So the kindergarten is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's from 11 to 5. And there are free rides, free bouncy houses. There's pony rides. There's a petting zoo. There's
Trains,
trains,
bungee
balloons,
jumping.
bungee, the bungee trampoline thing. I don't know what they call it. And I mean, there's all kinds of stuff to do. And that's all free. We do that. It's a longstanding tradition for us to really support the family.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of the things we've been able to do. And I look at that and I say, I think that's part of where Oktoberfest gets its longevity. Because every kid that's ever been is like, I'm so going back when I get
Oh, yeah. I remember begging my mom to like stay because she'd be like, "We'll go do your guys' stuff, and then you're gonna do my stuff." And so I'll go like stick it out at the playground or the play area and everything like that, and then you're gonna walk through all the booths with me. And we're like, "That sounds great." And as soon as our time's up, we're like, "Okay, we're ready to go." She's like, "No, we had a deal. You're now coming with me." It's like, oh.
Yeah.
But then as an adult, I'm like, "Oh, I get it. Like this is the fun part."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
got to watch her kids and then go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's going through the arts and crafts and looking at things that she wants to do, or taking a look at
Yeah.
or getting the traditional family photo at the Harvest Monument, because that's always kind of
Yeah.
a thing for a lot of people. Yeah, and to go in and see the shows at the bandstand, those are free too. There's so much to do that doesn't really cost anything. And people are feeling a little pinch this year. You can come to Oktoberfest and you don't have to spend a dime. You really don't. You can take the kids to the kindergarten for free. You can find street parking if you want to. You don't have to buy any food. You can come. You can watch the shows at the bandstand, watch the dancers, and have a good day. But we do hope that you guys will, somebody would buy food from the nonprofits,
Yeah.
or come in and sit down and have a beer in one of our venues. But yeah, it's a good deal, and we definitely want to make sure that people can afford to come and still come and have a good time.
Yeah.
So as far as like the itinerary goes, is there something they could pick up when they arrive?
Yeah.
Like
As
a
far
little
as-
map
A little map
to walk
of it?
through.
We've got
I love that they're smiling. Yeah, we can. We've got that for you.
this is the season where we're preparing the guide, and
Yeah.
it's like a 40 or 50 page little booklet
Yeah.
that gets put out, and it is chock full of information and details and the schedule and little vignettes on like describing some of the performers, what to do at the kindergarten. It's really a good thing to pick up because you can kind of flip through it. It's also all on the webpage. You guys are welcome to go there to
Yeah.
oktoberfest.org. That's us. And yeah, but I would definitely grab one of those guides because it's just nice. I like that, something to hold.
Like that tangible.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. But
Okay, so we got the families out of the way.
Got the
We got the
families.
families out of the way. Now comes the
Now the fun part.
The 20-year-old singles with nothing
20-year-olds can't drink. 21.
21 and
Yes,
over
yes,
ish
yes,
people.
21 and
Yeah.
over.
and this
So-
is Whitney's specialty
Yeah.
in the beer garden.
She's like, all right,
All
let's
right.
go.
So how do they have fun?
I mean, well, they're not going to go to the kindergarten, but
I mean, they might.
yeah, they
They're gonna
might.
try.
But they might get kicked out of there. But I mean, similar. You're going to get your food. One thing I was thinking about when you said the itinerary, I would recommend looking on the website first
Yeah.
if you've never been, because then you can kind of map out what you want to do. We have 5 different venues.
Mm-hmm.
We have the beer garden, the wine garden, the alpine garden, the Hopfen garden, and the Prost garden. Each one they serve beer, wine. We now serve ciders, and some of them serve seltzers also. They're going to have different types of entertainment. The beer garden and the wine garden are going to be the larger venues, and they are definitely the ones, Friday, Saturday night, they go until midnight. They go
Yeah.
late, the loud music, the German bands or German style music.
Mm-hmm.
The alpine garden is open till what? 9?
11.
Or 11. So, and that
Yeah.
one's a very family-friendly garden. Like, you can have kids in there the whole time. Hopfen garden and Prost garden are going to be much smaller, tent-style gardens. Just more relaxing.
Okay.
It's more encouraged. Go grab your food from the food booth, take them in, sit down, listen to, there's accordions or, just more quieter music, more relaxing. I mean, I work in the beer garden, so I'm guaranteed to not have a voice probably by day 3. Just because we're yelling, not because we're mad, but just because it's loud
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
fun and we're yelling over amazing music. And so by the end of the time, we're all kind of drawing straws as to who's going to talk to the incoming crews, and so
Who has a voice?
right, yeah, pretty much. We're like, well, not me anymore, but yeah, but so it's depending on which venue you're in, the energy levels can be different.
Yeah.
But I think there's something for everybody.
So is there tickets that you need to get into, like the big ones?
Yes. So there are wristbands. There are different types of passes, which you can buy online now, or you can buy them at the door. There's like a 1-day pass, or there's what's called an all festival pass. And so basically, you just get those for the beer garden and the wine garden, but the Prost garden and the Hopfen garden are in Alpine garden are no charge, so you can go in
And then,
anytime.
like, how far in advance do you suggest someone goes? I mean, how far in advance do you let people buy tickets ahead of time?
Well, tickets are on sale now.
Yeah.
oh,
so-
I like how you say "let" though. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how much access do they have and when?
No, they are, and the wristbands are really cool because one of the things is once you put that wristband on, you don't really have to stop at the other gates to go in. Like if you decide you've been at the beer garden and you enjoyed that show, but you want to run down and check out Salzburger Echo at the Alpine Garden, you can just walk up, show that you've
Just
got
like
your
show that you
wristband
got
on.
it.
Yeah.
It already identifies you as being 21 years old,
Okay.
and you can pretty much walk right through the door.
wow.
So-
Yeah, so there's oftentimes you don't have to wait in line again. You just kind of walk right through.
It's like a Disneyland Fast Pass.
Yes,
It is like a
Kinda.
Yes.
Kinda.
For beer.
Oktoberfest.
Yes.
Pass. I like it.
And
I like it.
the gardens, a lot of them have good food inside also. You
Yeah.
know, beer, wine, and good food.
Yeah.
So we were doing, we did a volunteer with our daughter's school last year to go run ice.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, we're just going to, like, people come get ice. And it's like, no, it's like this whole, like, it sounds so
system.
simple.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it is such a well-oiled machine. It was like all of a sudden we're getting like a radio, like, booth, whatever, needs like 2 bags. We're like, on it. We're like driving the whole thing down. And then they came back and said, yeah, you can't have the gator anymore because somebody else needs it. We're like, okay. They're like, here's a hand trap. And we're like, okay. So I was like, so Brian,
Yeah.
you're...
So balance on ice, like dodging people, going through the crowds.
I was like, I'll guard the truck. It's
Yeah.
okay.
yes. Yes. Yes, it's so good though, and I love the fact that you guys have volunteered there because that is kind of the basis for the whole festival. I mean, me and Whitney are volunteers, and what we do, we work a long time and a lot of hours to get ready for it. But then without all of you guys coming in and filling in those other gaps or working in a food booth, it'd be a whole different festival if we didn't have everybody there just helping out.
The
It's awesome.
logistical side of it is just insane to kind of see. I mean, we only saw like a fraction of what it is that you guys do, but I'm like, wow, okay. I need a
And
nap.
you
And I
mentioned
just
you mentioned nonprofits. So how many like nonprofits are actually working their booths there?
Roughly 40.
40?
Yeah.
I mean, how big is that for them as far as money that's coming in?
For a lot of them. I mean, before we were involved in Oktoberfest, the organization, we worked in our children's school also, and it was our largest fundraiser for the entire year.
Wow.
And it is that way for a lot of, it's churches, schools, PTCs, sports organizations. I mean,
Everything.
it's just so awesome what it does for these organizations. I mean, and you get the kids on the soccer team, having to volunteer and, just be a part of it. And it's just, I don't know, it's really, really good.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When does it open?
It opens usually about 11 o'clock in the morning and then closes. It always closes at midnight, sort of officially, but on Thursday night, there's not the big crowds for the beer gardens and stuff. So
we're going
Some of
Thursday.
them close a little earlier. Or if you're a real hardcore, you can go to the wine garden. Will be open until midnight.
Okay.
And yeah, that'll be fun.
And then some of the booths know that there's still a lot of people there, so they stay open a lot later.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So-
that's amazing.
So you can get some like midnight sausage at the booth. Okay.
On your way out.
Okay,
Corn on
Carrie.
the cob. I mean,
Really?
I'm a 5-year-old. Sorry.
Okay. With that said, it's good to know. It's good to know. I mean, that's okay.
Anyway, there are booths that enjoy serving that after hours crowd, and they stay open, and sometimes they can make a real killing as the beer garden empties out
Yeah.
and people have decided they've got the munchies. But
Yeah.
when you're staying that late and if you've had a few beers, one of the things we are absolutely in favor of is come on down, get a campsite.
Yeah.
It's just dry camping, but basically you can pull up your pickup,
Is it like one
sleep
of the
in
back,
the back.
way back fields back there?
Yeah, and you'll
Okay.
find those spots on the internet. I mean,
Okay.
when you go on the web, Oktoberfest.org, you'll find all the parking and all that good stuff that you can just, if you've had a few too many, just let the parking attendant know you're going to spend the night.
Do they have shuttles that come in too?
Yeah, we've last year North Marion Tourism Collaborative helped us out and put together a shuttle system, and they came from Portland and Salem and through Silverton and Woodburn.
Yeah.
And it worked out really, really nice. It drops people off like literally right in front of the beer garden. I mean,
Wow.
they're like right there. It's awesome. And then they'll shuttle them home. And that worked out really good, and we're running it again this year. And
That's awesome.
all of the routes are going to be direct, so there's no, last year you had to go from Portland to Woodburn and down in. Now it's like, nope, direct buses only, and they're running one out of Clackamas, and then one out of Portland, and one out of Salem by the fairgrounds, and then through Silverton and Woodburn as well.
It
So
probably takes pressure off your parking situation a lot
it's awesome. It's really good. And at $20 a ticket from like the Portland area,
too. Wow.
it's a steal. Parking alone is $15.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good deal.
Do you guys do fundraising for the festival itself outside of Oktoberfest, or?
No, we make our funds through the admission.
Okay.
So we sell the entertainment and we sell the beer. We sell the alcohol, and that's the way we make funds. But with those funds, we're all volunteers. So what do we do with that money? We give it back to the community.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah. How's that work?
So at the end of Oktoberfest, basically people will submit applications for grants.
Oh, cool.
And if somebody wants one, you get a hold of info@oktoberfest.org and I'll send one out. But not now. Wait till after Fest. It'll get lost in the mess right now.
Send it on
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
That would be funny. But so they'll send applications. They'll fill them out, get them done October 31st, get them back to us. We evaluate the applications, find out how much money we actually made or didn't make.
Yeah.
And then we'll evaluate those in November and then send checks in December.
So what kind of grants have you granted before?
Granted. Oh gosh. Some of the ones that have been going out right now are we've got three track coaches that do the run for us.
Uh-huh.
Their group sets up the the races for us, and we granted each of those organizations about $3,000 last year. So
Wow, that's cool.
for a track group, even at a school, they're like, yeah, I don't think our budget has changed in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So to get that kind of influx for funds for them, they're
Yeah.
super excited, and we're so glad to have them back doing it. They do a good job. And then there's, I'm trying to think of what they all are. Sometimes it's like for the Providence nursing home, they'll have a request for, a need for a small piece of equipment. Schools for after school programs will supplement something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's so many that come in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what are they all? A church will need help paving a parking lot, so we'll throw some funds that direction.
That sounds
it's
like a fun
variety
job.
of stuff.
I mean-
Yes.
I mean, it sounds like it's a hard job to try to make decisions because you probably get a huge influx.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
get good ones in, and that's I will say it's worth becoming a director because then you get a vote on those things. So there's your there's
If you
your
were on the
hook,
fence,
Whitney.
like, here you go.
So how big is it? I think you talked about it was like around 30,000 towards like the 1960s. What is it sitting at right now, do you think? I mean, I guess you're probably clocking people
I was
going
gonna say,
through
do you
the
have like a
gates.
clicker as people are coming in?
Well, we can't.
I know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
There's
how do you
no-
do that? Because
Yeah.
it just flows back and forth.
There's
Fly
no
a drone
gate.
over and
Yeah.
just like do a head count.
Well, yeah, but then they move. So
Dang
they'll
it.
be down there by the Harvest Monument, and 10 minutes later they're going to be up there at the
I
kindergarten.
give up.
So,
I'm out. I can't
yeah.
be a director.
Don't worry about it. We've tried. But we figure we're somewhere between the 350 to 400,000 right now.
Wow. I mean, that's huge for a city that size.
Yeah,
What's
mean-
the population of Mount Angel?
3,500.
3,500. So like Munich, it's what 6 million people pass through, and
Yeah.
it's like 16 to 17 days long
Yeah.
as theirs. Have you propositioned the city saying, can we just run this an entire month?
Well, you skipped right over a week and went straight to a month.
You know,
Can
16
we
to
take it
17
from
days.
4
Yeah.
to, let's say, 31?
Yeah.
It seems like a nice round number.
There is that point where you realize that the people who live downtown in the midst of the
Yeah.
festival would probably hunt you down.
Yeah. Especially if it's volunteer work, I guess. You know?
So we can't, we can't do that. People
Yeah.
ask us that a lot. And it is something, we every once in a while we'll sit down and start considering, and then it's like, can we really put that much energy out
Yeah.
2 weekends in a row? And it's like, man, I know I couldn't.
Yeah.
But when we do it, we're all in. I mean, it's 4 days of crazy.
Yeah.
Plus, we have days we're required to do on the Wednesday and the Monday. So setup and tear down are huge. So yeah, but we're all in, and we're getting about somewhere between 6 and 4 hours of sleep.
So are you guys camping there too? Are you like
Yeah.
community?
Yeah. Most people do. Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed with a lot of festivals, the people coordinate it kind of camp, and it's kind of like a big family type thing. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's probably why you guys stick around for 5+ years,
Well,
coming
and
back
we
for
really
more.
are like a big family.
Yeah.
The people part of Oktoberfest. It's, I don't know.
How
Yeah.
many people are involved?
We have 19 on the board of directors, and we have 17 associates. And then we have roughly 7,500 more volunteers that come in and help, like you guys do,
7,500?
doing ice or serving sausage or pouring beers or
The ice was so scary.
parking or yes.
Yeah.
That's
a lot.
that's. I mean, it's amazing how many volunteers you can get. I mean, it says something about the festival itself and the fact that you make it fun, and it's community based. I don't know a lot of festivals that would just like get that many people. I mean, you couldn't get the state fair to have volunteers show up. I mean,
7,500
Yeah.
volunteers.
Yeah. yeah. So it says something about the community, and people see it as a community event for
They
Mount
take
Angel.
ownership in it.
Yeah, and it's like a heritage type thing, for a lot of people. So
We definitely have some of that. Even on the board, we had a gentleman who just retired after, I think he was 30 years on the board.
wow.
And it was 30 years because his son Daniel is 30 years old, and he joined as an associate as his dad got off.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
So it's like
kind of fun to see
generational.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
aw.
Yeah. It's fun
Yeah.
to see, and our kids aren't old enough to be a part of it, but they'll still show up in the morning and help clean up, and
Yeah.
they more and more. And I think we see that with a lot of the younger generation of of directors and associates. The kids are there and they love it just as much. So
That's awesome.
I
Yeah.
got grandkids dancing, so I mean everybody's kind of got stuff going on. It's
You got
just awesome.
14 grandkids?
15.
15.
Yeah.
Wow. So you got a whole batch of like associates
She's
there.
priming
Up
all
and
the
coming.
associates.
They're going to
I
be
got
able to
another
do their
for ya.
own food booth pretty soon.
So the kids that are dancing, I've always been curious, how do you get involved with that?
That's generally you're local, so you know, and you ask, you kind of know who to ask, and so everybody gets a hold of Kelly, or they'll ask me. And outsiders have approached me through Oktoberfest.org.
Yeah.
And so I'll put them in touch with the gal who runs the dance, and she does a great job of organizing. We get roughly 400 dancers. So to organize that starting at the end of July, and you think of all those kids just all over the place. It's amazing, but she does a great job, and she's got a bunch of helpers who they'll teach the boys these two dances, and somebody else will teach the girls these two dances, and so they make it work, and
love
they
it.
just keep.
And they just keep practicing up until go time.
Yep,
Okay.
it's awesome.
Wow.
And what's the age range that are usually?
Oh gosh, they do going into first grade, so that's roughly 6 to. There's a number of young college age that have enjoyed it so much.
Oh, so it's not like 18.
No, they've kept going and done an older group, and so they get a little more acrobatic and a little more upbeat and a little more showy with some of their dances. You'll see them in the beer garden some nights, and there are some shows that they do. I think the beer garden, the Alpine Garden, and probably down at the bandstand is
Okay.
where they're at. So
Okay.
they're fun to watch.
That's awesome.
So you guys are kind of nationally recognized as far as one of the bigger events for Oktoberfest, right?
Yeah, we are big. It's amazing how we show up in the polls and things like that. And with the internet, it's changed a lot. But yeah, we're definitely well recognized, and we are certainly the biggest one on the West Coast. So we get people, as a marketing person, I find it interesting to sit there and look at my Google and sit there and watch the connections bleep in and out and where they're coming from. So if you go into the analytics, you can see where people on your webpage are coming from or
Yeah.
where they're looking. And we'll see them from all the way back east, up in Wisconsin. We've had Florida. I look at it up and down the West Coast, down in San Francisco and up in the Seattle area. There are pockets where people are just like, I'm going. And I just think it's so funny to sit there and think, wow, they're coming that far.
Wow.
We must be doing pretty good.
I love that. Do you have a webcam set up with a live stream of the event?
No.
Oh.
No, we don't. We haven't done any of that so far. It's part of that is trying to figure out the logistics.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we haven't found anybody who really has that drive. If there was
Okay.
somebody that got on the board and said, I'd love to do this, we'd start considering it, but nobody has gone, that's my passion. So
Yeah.
so it's
That's
there.
okay.
It's
It's
an
doing
idea.
well by itself. My gosh.
Yeah. So what is the as far as next year goes? What have you guys ever projected this far out, next year? What do we want to do next, and then 5 years and 10 years out? Is it just what's the growth look like for it?
That's a big question. And
What's your crystal ball say?
our crystal ball varies. Sometimes it
I
just gets
know.
really cloudy, you know. I mean,
You gotta shake it up a little bit.
it is. It's amazing. And so we've actually started to talk about that, how do we grow, or do we just try to do what we do now really well?
Yeah.
And that is a real strategic decision. Part of it is some organizations will move locations in order to accommodate a bigger crowd.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times we kind of think that being right there in the middle of town
It's
really
what
kind
makes it.
of
Yeah. That's what. Yeah.
So-
it's that familiar. Why can't I say it? It feels familiar.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Go back.
I'm gonna take the beer away from you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say. Why can't I say that word? Oh my gosh. But going back and knowing the same spots to go to every year and yeah.
Yeah, I think if you just did it in a big open field, it wouldn't feel the same.
No.
Yeah.
You guys have the buildings downtown that add to it, the downtown it's kind of cool. Just kind of
perfect.
Yeah, it's maneuvering around it. You get the kind of the old world feel with some of the buildings with it. And I think if
Yeah.
you just did a bunch of tents out in the middle of nowhere, it'd just feel kind of more like a Renaissance fair.
Yeah, and that's not what we want to be doing. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's some people are like, "Oh, we got to grow," and other people are like, "Ooh, I don't know." And so it'll be, part of this won't be our decision. It'll be whether or not the city allows us to expand our borders
Yeah.
within the city, but also, what do we want to look like? And we're starting to talk about that. Up until now, it's been like we can grow, we can grow, we can grow, and now it's more like, ooh, can we grow?
Yeah.
And then
Should we grow?
next
Is it
year,
based on
our
like economic decisions, or is it based on like just the amount of people coming in?
it's based on our ability to turn out a quality festival
Yeah.
in the space that we have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we can try and encourage everybody to come on Thursday. That'll work, right?
Right.
We can
Yeah.
fit more people on Thursday and Friday morning.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, as far as growth, I mean, we don't necessarily have to grow out, but just we've got a couple new buildings. I mean, the Fest Hall was just put up, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
We just put up a new
It's huge.
building right next to the wine garden that's brand new, hasn't even been used yet. This will be the first year. So, I mean, there's things within the city limits or within our boundaries that
Yeah.
we're making better. So,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people like beer. I mean, you can't take that
People
away.
like well, people like beer. So
But even the
you're doing
demographics,
great.
the demographics of that have changed too. We talked to a couple brewers. It's like, yeah, it's changed
The
a little
profile of the drinker
bit.
has
Profile of the
changed.
drinker.
Oh, yeah. Well, and one of the things we see, and it's been, I give Peter, our director of venues, or our director, I call him the director of beer, he does a really good job of trying to contract with organizations that can bring in enough beer to do the big venues
Yeah.
and still keep an interesting menu. But then he has deliberately gone out and searches out really good small brewers in the local area, even
Yeah.
ones those that are self-distributed. So you're getting some really unique stuff in a couple of the smaller venues. And it's great because then people who really enjoy that unique craft experience
Yeah.
can go into the Prost Garden and the Hoffen Garden and get that. And then when you're ready to just drink a couple of beers and go dance, you go down and visit Whitney and Mike
Yeah.
down in the beer garden and have a great time and drink something that you're likely to find on the store shelves.
And then you guys are importing like kegs from like Germany.
yeah, we start in March or April?
Yeah.
Placing the orders.
When did they show up?
Hopefully before festival.
Fingers crossed.
There's been a couple of years where the fingers have been crossed.
Wow. So they're loading them onto a boat and then bringing them over somehow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you've got customs.
She's like, don't jinx us.
Wow. It's interesting because Oregon is a big microbrew. I think back east, people were like, it's a different type of beer that they drink over there. It's very standardized, but I think Oregonians kind of like a wide variety of things. So how do you think they go over? Do people gravitate towards the more traditional German beers, or they go for the the local stuff?
I think all of the above. Like
Yeah.
Monica said, you can get, if you're really looking for those specialty, smaller
Like the
craft
craft
breweries.
beer,
yeah.
mhm. I mean, some of the large gardens may have one of those or two of those, but the smaller, the Prost Garden, the Hoffen Garden, that's more their niche,
Yeah.
and you're going to go there. One of my favorites is in the Hoffen Garden, Silver Falls Brewery out of Silverton, real close to Mount Angel. They supply some beer, and some days on like Fridays or Saturdays, the owners and the brewers are there pouring the beer for you. So I mean, it's just But yeah, I mean, as far as there really is something for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'd have to look. I'd have to count how many beers we have in the beer garden this year, in the wine garden. But
We've
and
got
we have
35 beers this year.
Yeah.
I counted.
Wow.
She's like, take that off your plate.
Yeah.
I got it covered.
I haven't found a beer I don't like yet. Carrie's
Yeah.
very specific about what she can drink, but I
I'm
can.
high maintenance,
yeah.
clearly.
If someone brings me on a flight and I
Oh.
just tell them just guess, just give me
Yeah,
a
they're like, what
wide
would you
variety.
like? And he's like, just pick one of whatever you think I'd like. And you can see him go, okay.
Are you sure about
Okay,
that?
are you
That's
sure about it?
intimidating.
Just do it.
Just
Yeah,
do it.
just
yeah.
do it.
I love it. I love it. There's different tastes with each one. I like sampling all the different beers, and I really do like the German and like the Belgian type beers.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a different flavor, kind of like the skunky type of stuff, but it also has like the I don't know, the Hefeweizens have like the more like the banana type flavors to them.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Banana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get that?
I know what he's talking about.
It's like when you smell it. It's almost like a. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's the.
It's like a rich.
the yeast. I think that they
Yeah,
use is
I call
very
that a wheat smell, not
Yeah.
banana. But
I'm gonna find you banana.
I'm gonna,
beer.
banana in your beer.
I found it for you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So yeah, I do like beer.
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
I mean,
I would spend some time in the Hofmann if I were you, because they've got Silver Falls, they've got Heater Allen, they've got Block 15, they've got the Benedictine Brewery down there. I'm trying to think. There's
Freem is-
another one. Oh, and Freem's in the wine garden
Yeah.
with the best Pilsner in the world. They literally won that title at the World Beer Cup in
Really?
2024.
Who is that again?
Freem. So they're out of Hood River,
Okay.
and they're down in the wine garden, and then there's there's some Boneyard over in the Alpine Garden, and some Van Henyen, I think there. And we've got a lot of 10 Barrel and Widmer Hef down in the beer garden, along with
some big
Spot.
names in there. Yeah.
And we've got we have a really, really, really good selection. Peter does a great job.
So besides beer, I mean, you guys have some locals there in Mount Angel. Yeah, Mount Angel Sausage Factory.
Yeah,
Yeah, they operate
Is
their
it
own
factory or company?
company.
Company.
But we know.
But
yeah,
they call
yeah.
it a factory.
We know what it is.
Yeah. So it's So they what other restaurants are down there? That there used to be one that we used to go to. It's not around anymore.
Oh yeah. They
What's
had
the Glockenspiel?
Glockenspiel.
Yes. And the Glockenspiel is still the building, the structure is still
Yeah.
there, and the Glockenspiel that does the town history still operates. But the restaurant closed. The folks who ran it were all 70 plus.
Yeah.
So it was time. But it now has a really good I'm going to call it a soup and sandwich shop, which is probably too simple because they've got a lot of other good stuff in
Yeah.
there too, but they do a great job. It's called Lou's Kitchen.
Okay.
Aw.
Yeah, and I recommend their food highly. It's really, really good. And they do a German night, I think, a couple times a month. So, like, the chef just kind of goes with those German roots.
I remember
so.
them because you know why? Because I delivered ice to them last year.
Yes, everybody goes for
Oh yeah,
because
because he's like, "Where's Lou's?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Look on your map,
Yeah.
so you'll find it."
Yeah. So is there any other places there that do like the traditional like German sausage and like spatzel and all that stuff still there?
Yeah, most of them aren't in the restaurants. They'll be out in
Yeah.
the food booths.
Okay.
Yeah. So hit the food booths, and there'll be one with the spätzle and one with the sausage that you find is your favorite. And then you've got to go to the Dairy Wives to get the ice
Oh, you
cream.
gotta go
cone.
there.
Yeah.
Or there's,
Yeah.
there's the German chocolate cake with the applesauce or the apple.
Oh, I haven't had that yet.
Yeah, the apple cake is awesome with the butter sauce. That's what I'm thinking.
We need to like plan out our trip and like
Yes.
we're gonna hit this and this and because we just wing it
Yeah,
when we go.
And the guide actually has like the menu of all 40 booths.
Oh, okay.
So get a highlighter and take all your kids because that way you can all
what we're
like
gonna
buy
do.
stuff and share it, and then you can hit more booths.
I like it.
There's strategies
There's
to this.
strategy
Yeah.
to this. I
yeah.
love it.
So what is there anything new that you want to talk about as far as this year as opposed to last year?
Well, buildings, but the food booths.
Yeah.
There's what?
So you got new food booths?
There's 4 new food booths this year.
Okay.
So what Bethany Charter School is going to have buttered corn, which is good because there used to be a booth doing that, and they haven't been there for a couple of years. So that's been something that's been missing that a lot of people look forward to.
Corn just disappeared?
Well, the booth did not
Really?
come back. Yeah.
Well, it seems like someone has to do it.
Well, I think it's hard. I mean, some of it is people have a hard time finding volunteers, like we were
Really?
talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think COVID definitely impacted that. So
I think that's across the board. It feels like
yeah.
everywhere.
And then there was the
Capaces.
Yep.
What's that?
It's a leadership group out of Woodburn, and they're doing. Do you remember the menu?
pretzels and assorted sausages,
Oh, you gotta have pretzels.
pretzels and cheese. Oh, and then there was the group doing the chili.
Yep, that was the Wilsonville Fast Pitch.
Yes, that's right.
And who was the last one? It was a Boy Scout group. I think they're out of Vancouver, which
Really?
is awesome. I love that they're coming that far. It just gets me all excited
Yeah,
that
that is
people are doing that. And I'm trying to remember what their menu was, and I think it was a very traditional, like pretzels and sausage.
Okay.
So I'm hungry now.
Yeah,
If you can hear my stomach, it just keeps growling.
good. That's what we're hoping for.
Let's go make some fondue.
Chocolate fondue. That was one of the new things this year.
Yes,
Really?
chocolate
Chocolate
fondue.
fondue.
I
So
can't
how
remember which
do they
beer.
serve that? I mean, is it like a
I haven't seen it yet,
Yeah.
but I can't wait.
yeah?
You gotta come and find out.
I'm
you gotta
sure
shop and
that's
find out.
not going to help the Durnville fit, but
Hey, these loose enough. That's all right.
You gotta get the spinners. I mean, that's the only way.
I know.
I could pound
He's
so many
like,
of
"This
those
is so comfortable,"
sausages
and I'm
down and. So how do we support you guys and get the word out?
Oh, well, this is great. This is great. I mean, poor Whitney, it's like, I can talk about Oktoberfest all day.
Yeah.
She's just laughing at me. But it's so good. So this is very helpful. One of the things that we always like to share is the fact that we are a nonprofit and what we do helps others, and that all of the food booths are nonprofits.
Yeah.
So that's one of the really big things that we do. And we would love to have more nonprofits there. We have room for probably 60 booths. So
Yeah.
if more people want to come, get a hold of us and we'll get you in for next year. So
Or if you want to like run ice.
yeah. And if there's a group that wants to volunteer and do stuff, yes, there is. We absolutely love and need more volunteers.
Always.
Awesome. So
Always.
volunteers and more bodies running through buying beer and buying food.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
So how do they find you on social media?
We are on Facebook
Facebook.
and Instagram, and
Is it just Mount Angel Oktoberfest that they look up? or-
yeah, if you do Mount Angel Oktoberfest, you'll come up on Facebook really easy. And then Instagram, I think we're Oktoberfest_Mount Angel.
Okay.
I think if you type it in,
It'll come up.
It pops up with you guys. So
Yes, yeah.
you guys are safe there.
You
And
guys-
you guys got a website too where you can see your big map.
Yeah, it's on Oktoberfest.org.
Okay.
And I'm so grateful to the gentleman who was PR and marketing before me, because
I was going
He
to say, how
set
did you
that
get
up.
Oktoberfest.org?
yeah, we've been offered lots of
That's like
money
getting beer.com
for that
or something.
domain name.
Yeah.
It was
Wow.
awesome. So I'm really grateful because we pop up really easy when you do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got the beer menu on there. We've got the food menu on there, or we will shortly. We have the schedule of events and all the different entertainers, the things to do at the kindergarten, the shows that we have up there. There's a car show. There's wiener dog races. There's a golf tournament. Oh gosh, what else, Whitney? What am I missing?
The military display.
Oh yeah, military
show.
vehicles. Yep,
There's a golf tournament. There's a run.
good. Missed that one.
I think, yeah.
Man, I don't know if I can do a run after all that food.
Well,
You come before,
most
then
people
you
do it in the
reward
morning
yourself with
before.
it.
Yeah.
Gives you an excuse to eat tons.
Exactly.
And you get a beer ticket if you finish.
Really?
So,
Oh.
They're incentivizing people. Oh, the Olympics.
oh, the Olympics. Yes.
We do Olympics. Which
So what's
is
involved in that?
so that usually happens in the beer garden.
Is it just a
And-
matter of just being able to stand up straight?
Somewhat. That helps. That is helpful, yes.
Not necessary, but
It's not a
I
requirement.
mean, no. I mean, some of it you're rolling kegs, you're running with kegs, empty kegs, but
Yeah.
they're still heavy.
Yeah.
Beer stein holding, yodeling contests, and so that's always fun if you can partake in one of those or just watch one of them because it's
Oh
always
man, when are
guaranteed
those?
entertainment.
When
Are those?
I want to see it. I really
We
want
got
to
to
see
go
it.
to the website.
Well,
and
it
we
should,
got to find
it should be on the schedule.
Okay.
yeah, it's on
Yeah.
the schedule.
Yeah,
I'm
because
gonna
it
look
happens
for
in
it.
various places at various times. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, Monica, Whitney,
for
thanks for
having
coming.
us.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
wait to
This
go.
is great. We appreciate
Yeah,
you help get
yeah.
the word
So
out.
now it's Prost. Prost.
Es ist Zeit für den Hannover Podcast. Der Podcast auf Sing mit. Von Sagen bis Mond, überall der Zeichen. Hast du noch